Hello! How you doing? It's just the perfect temperature for wearing the robe that I made ages ago. I'm sorry I meant to make this video yesterday. That's what happens. There's an old saying that is very true. It says, life is what happens when you're making plans. And that's extremely accurate. I still was able to do a live stream yesterday. Bathtub drain was clogged, and I had to drive over to the relative's house and get the manual metal snake. And I climbed up on a little step stool in the basement, pulled back the rubber sleeve that's tightened for access, and I was standing there on a footstool, a stepladder, manually snaking the drain line. Everybody told me in live streams, like, well, at least we know that the drain line wasn't full of hair. And of course you got to pull the line out, and all this filth is just coming down all over me. It's just, and it was enough to make a billy goat, upchuck. It was bad. I went through 2 towels that I threw away, 4 mini towels. It was just way too dirty to clean those things. And 2 whole rolls of paper towels to clean that. It was all over the floor, and I had to just clean up everything, and bleach and isopropyl, and I even had to take 2 showers. I lead such a glamorous life. I almost had a nightmare over that when it was so bad. I wanted to talk about false information. I notice a lot of people, and I don't care about politics. I really, absolutely don't. I believe in natural order and telling the truth, and of course, whose truth? Is your truth or my truth? People, relativists, they think that all truth is, subjective and relative, or both at the same time, and that's certainly not true. There's things that are natural effluence of natural order, and knowing what's right. It's like you don't have to consult a book to know what's right. By the way, nobody ever mentions this, but laws and police, etc., etc., they only exist to keep evil and ignorant people in line. If everybody was even moderately wise, I don't have to be fully wise or extremely wise, just moderately wise, we'd have absolutely no need for police, laws, jails, on it. We wouldn't have any need for that. But nearly everybody is power hungry, and they're full of their own beliefs. And by the way, there's really only 2 bases for misinformation and lies. One is desire for power, and the other one is persona. Persona is a natural effluence of beliefs. I believe this, and what I believe is who I am. And that's how I stand apart from everybody else, because I have my beliefs, and beliefs, by the way, are different than convictions. There's a lot of crossover there. By the way, there's a neat little site, a social media site online. I'll let you figure out which one it is. Starts with an F. F for failed, right? It was actually created by the CIA. But anyway, this neat little site of social media online, someone actually sent me this quote quite a long time ago. It said, "This site," starts with an F, "is a perfect example of socialism. You get it for free. You don't have any say in how it works. And the guy who runs it is filthy rich. You have no privacy, and if you say one thing they don't like, they shut you up." That's as a person that lived in Soviet Russia, yeah, and post-Soviet Russia. That's exactly what it is. It is socialism. Anyway, there's been a lot of chirping going on around about information, and this is the new front. There's the French front and the German front and the Russian front back in WW2. The new front, especially this is the front of AI and the front of information. A lot of people, unfortunately, are extremely low information. I've actually been debating things for decades, things that, there's nobody that knows more about the topic than Ananda than me. Nobody. I have all the citations and facts and logic to back me up. And they'll still do it because people are attached. Well, I've believed this. What it essentially is, even though they won't say this, I've believed this for a long time, And I'll be darned if you're going to come around and, start talking about facts and citations and logic and prove that everything I believed in for all these countless years was nothing but a bunch of nonsense, because what I believe is who I am. And of course that is not who anybody actually is, but it's what most people think is who and that which they truly are. And I've said this a million times, that 98% of all conflict on this earth is due to belief systems and people's attachments. The same. It's 98 or 99%, which of course is born out of primordial agnosis and false identification, and that's the substrate metaphysics behind everything. It certainly relates. If everybody on this earth lived to be 200 years old and they had didn't have to work, and endless free travel, like Star Trek, where you could just hit a button and you could be transported to Tahiti or Acapulco, or hit button number D and get transported to the Bahamas, and everybody had Lamborghinis and unlimited food and wanted for nothing, there'd still be conflict, because your neighbor's wife is hotter than yours, or they're younger than you. You're already like 200 years old and they're only 50 years old. The envy, the greed, the attachments, and the beliefs. It'd still be conflict. I find it funny that anybody that thinks they're going to fix things through laws, it's never going to happen. There are better systems and there are worse systems. This is the reason why I don't care about politics. I do care immensely so about freedoms. But there's been a whole lot of chirping, especially recently. You say, well, it's the funny season because of November 4th that's coming up. That's partially true. I'll give you a couple quotes, but there's a lot of this going around, especially after the past Milton and Helene. John Kerry said, our First Amendment, John Kerry said this a couple weeks ago, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to, hammer this so-called, misinformation. You use the word disinformation out of existence. Hillary said, social media platforms must censor strictly content, or else we're going to, quote, lose total control. What she actually meant, in correct translation, I have no respect for her, but I don't really have any respect for any politician. What she means is that you're going to lose control of the narrative. She didn't finish the last part of that. It's what she meant, was thinking, but she didn't say it because she's smart enough to know not to say that. Yeah, we're going to have to censor. The social media outfits need to start censoring things, really. Otherwise, we're going to lose control of the narrative. Here's another fact, and something I don't think I've heard from anybody else. Someone probably has said it. Free speech and tyranny cannot coexist. If you don't have free speech, you have tyranny. If you have tyranny, you don't have free speech. Free speech. They will destroy each other. They cannot coexist. Tyranny and free speech cannot play at the playground. They can't live in the same city. They can't even live on the same planet. Well, they can in different countries. I take that back, actually. But they can't exist. Free speech and tyranny cannot coexist. All the people that want to, make you quiet, are tyrannical by definition, by denotation. Not connotation, by connotation too, actually, but by denotation, they're tyrannical. They really are. And people are addicted. I see this all the time. I'm the #1 expert, not my opinion, a fact, on the terma nada as found in Scripture. There is nobody on this earth that comes within 1,000,000 miles of me. I know all 556 occurrences, 22 compounds, every contextual usage. I've written articles about it. There's nobody that can contradict me. Nobody. There have been people that tried. And yet, people like, oh, I've believed this nonsense for so long, and their belief is what they identify as themselves. Well, I am a collection of various beliefs. And if you're going to come along and prove this belief I have, whether that be a big belief of mine or a small belief, I cannot listen to that, because you're basically annihilating who and that which I am. You see, the ignorance that identifies as this persona, not just the meat suit, not just the psychophysical persona non grata, Bob, Sue, Larry. Yeah, and that's the passage that repeats itself thousands of times in the Nikaya. Rupa nata, Veda nata, Sana nata, Sankara nata, Vinya nata, Nama Rupa nata te. I know you don't speak ancient Pali, dead language now for 2,000 years. It means the psychophysical is not that which I truly am, i.e. the transcendent soul. But there's a secondary substrate of the persona that people cling to so deeply. My beliefs, you're basically annihilating that which I am. Like what? By proving you wrong? By book and verse and logic and citation? In fact, which I've done a million times. I mean, literally a million times. That's right. It's like, I just proved you wrong. No, 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 I've been clinging on to that belief for a long time. It's kind of like that moldy apple I got in the back of my refrigerator. It's been there for 10 years. It's like, why don't you throw it out? You can't eat it. It's toxic. Yeah, but it's been in my refrigerator so long, I haven't gotten really used to it. Every time I open up my fridge and I see that moldy apple, it's like growing fungus. Some people are like this, actually. Every time I open the refrigerator and see that moldy apple, it makes me think back of that time when I had that sweetheart romance with my girlfriend in Tahiti. That's why I keep that moldy apple in the back of my refrigerator. It's like, it's probably making you sick because its mold spores are propagating throughout the rest of the refrigerator. They won't do it. They won't give it up. That is that which they identify. Of course, there is subjective truth and objective truth. Most people can't differentiate, and you are not taught the difference in high school or college or elementary school. Only evil and tyranny wants to suppress speech. You know, if you're so opposed to me saying it, then there must be some truth in it that, you know, rubs your fur the wrong way. You know? Once again, I have to point out to you that lies and true disinformation are only serve two purposes: power and persona. And by persona, I mean beliefs, and this is what people identify with. When I talk about persona, I'm not just talking about the physical meat suit. I'm talking about the class of things that you believe in, that you think is that which you are. So lies only serve two things. I mean, there's conventional ignorance. Like you'll say something, well, I didn't know that. I thought it was right. And here is something that every child on earth should have been taught. And I guarantee you, no child on this earth was taught this, so you better listen closely. It is that important. Every child should have been taught this, like, every month of every school year, including college. It's like, I know you've heard this a million times. We got to say it again, because it's that important. A genuine truth seeker, which is noble and praiseworthy, yeah, loves to be proven right. He or she, loves to be proven right, or they, loves to be proven right, or they love to be proven wrong. Can you think why that would be? If you're on the right path and you're proven right, it makes you happy if you're a truth seeker, because you know you're headed in the right direction. If you're headed in the wrong direction, and someone, you know, they don't have to slam you. Some people will slam you and tell the truth. Like, you're on the wrong path, girlfriend, man, you're crazy. You can say, you're on the wrong path because boom, 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 boom. Wow, I did not know that. You know, people put up a barrier that leads to their own self-destruction. If you are proven wrong by facts, logic, wisdom, and evidences, and you drop this persona, i.e. belief systems that you have about yourself, that means you've been corrected. Just think about that for a second. Nobody ever has been taught this, not that I know of. No. And even Plato or Pythagoras or Plotinus never said this. If you're proven right, you know you're on the right path. Everything else, no one can contradict you. You're on the right path. Boom. Great. Great, great, great. If you're proven wrong, well, a person that's attached to their beliefs, oh, it makes them super angry. I encountered somebody like that at a show last week. I was there with my friend that bought the house in Florida. The guy was selling something, let's just say, not exactly lawful. And I pointed out, you know, you can't be selling those things. That's boom, 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 boom. Oh, he started, flapping his lips and using vile invectives towards me, which of course doesn't move me. I even told him, I said, you know, you keep using those vile words against me. They don't affect me. They don't change the fact. What I said is factual. Anybody could go look it up. But people like that are attached to their nonsense, their lies, their beliefs. People in love with misinformation. But just think about that. If you're proven right, you're on the right path. If you're proven wrong, you should be happy. The only reason anybody that's legitimately proven wrong is unhappy is if they're attached to beliefs and false persona. You know, if someone says I'm on the wrong path and they've given me evidence, logic, boom, 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 well, thank you. You know, like, yeah, you're heading down the wrong path. This path leads off a cliff. You know, well, thank you. Did not know that. You know, I mistakenly was headed in the wrong direction about, you know, principle ABCXYZ. You've been corrected. Just think about how brilliant and simple that is. If you're proven right, you're on the right path. If you're proven wrong, then you're corrected and put on the right path. Either one should make you happy. But it doesn't make most people happy because most people are addicted to their sorry, little, petty, vile, little...
I mean, this is who I am. This is what I believe, and that's who I am. Look at that. That's me. Look at that.
No, that's not who you are. This is the importance of metaphysics. I cannot stand, as someone that's part English, and I'm not picking on the English, I cannot stand the abject astronomical tyranny of people that have been thrown in the pokey, you know, been put in chains over super innocent and, might I add, highly factual things put on various social media in the UK. I get along great with the Russian people, okay? I don't care what anybody thinks about the United States. But I can go downtown and hold up a protest sign on the corner of the street. No one gives a darn, nor am I in trouble. If I were to hold up any kind of sign in protest of anything, anywhere in Russia, yeah, St. Petersburg, Moscow, yeah, they throw me in shackles. They throw me in a dark pit, throw away the key. You know, 10 minutes, I'd get arrested within 10 minutes, so. Anybody could pick on the United States all they want, but at least I can go down to the corner here and hold up a protest sign. Even if it's misinformation. Even if it's factually incorrect. There is a whole lot of this in academia. They're called gatekeepers. They're also, too, called a dog in the manger. Peer review. You know, I hear that all the time. Peer review. If you really knew what peer review actually meant, you would never, ever, ever use those. Read your stuff in peer reviewed. Peer review is a bunch of dogs that got certified in the same nonsense. This dog agrees that this dog's little dirty starfish smells as good as that other dog's dirty starfish, and that dog agrees that the dog in front of him's dirty starfish smells just as good as his. It's just a circle of dogs sniffing dirty starfishes. I think you know what a dirty starfish is. There's going to be a boon in the future. We're going to look at the time of free information and paper material, which cannot be digitally. You could burn them like they did back in WW2, which is what their version of digital scrubbing was. You just piled them all in the city center and you threw gasoline on them and you lit those books up. Look at that, and everybody's cheering. Yay! Burning intelligent books, you know, to help people. Yeah, this is crowd psychology. But only evil and tyranny wants to suppress free speech. I mean, if they want to suppress it, that means that it either wrecks their narrative or themselves because they want to hold on to power and or they want to hold on to their silly little beliefs. Not everything is subjective truth, by the way. You know, there's no subjective truth in whipping out the digital calipers and turning it on and saying, you know, the width of this rock is 32.4 millimeters as calibrated. You know, there's no arguing that. And yet people will still do that. When I did a bunch of photography videos, and this is not my opinion, it's a fact, people think that larger camera sensors gather more light. They would argue with me and argue with me. There's even a guy, he's really big on the tube. And he wrote a book that included that false information. Because exposure is per unit area, not per total area, because camera sensors don't work like picture windows. Picture windows let in more light, i.e. total light. I have all the facts, including the math behind me. Exposure is per unit area, not per total area. I even told people this. As I used to shoot 4x5 cameras, big piece of film, even 8x10. If you actually took that negative and stuck it in a dark box and like cut out a little corner of the 4x5 negative and stuck it back there in the exposure plate, Now, that's no different than a sensor. The exposure is the same because your exposure is per unit area, not per total area. Because camera sensors don't work like solar panels and picture windows, which is about total area of light that's allowed in. Now, camera sensors, millions and millions and millions of little different individuated pixels of light. But these people would argue, no, larger sensors do gather more light. It's, excuse me. Let me point out something else to you. As the god of handheld meter readers, where you'd actually meter read for an exposure, very, very expensive. I had the most expensive money can buy. I probably had like 13 light meters. And I said, let me point you out something here, girlfriend. Tattooed monkey knows best. Old Uncle Kenny is a little bit smarter than that. A lot smarter, actually. There is no setting on any digital light meter that has an entry for sensor size. And that is a fact, Jack. Whoa, still, larger sensors gather more light. You see what I'm up against? That type of gross ignorance. It is not general ignorance where you point, you know you're wrong because boom, 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 boom. And an intelligent person, a truth seeker, well, I did not know that. I stand corrected. I'm always happy to be corrected. That way I know the facts. And I did not understand correctly. Before, other people, most people, they say, no. Something inside of them knows they're wrong, but they're so in love and so attached to their false identity. Anyway, I think I made my point on that. This is a great standard also, too, that evil people get others to bow and prostrate to. I didn't say prostate, not the bodily organ. I'm talking about, bow and prostrate themselves to. It's to serve evil deeds. Free speech, of course, is only dangerous to people who are in love with views or demons that are trying to control the narrative and stay in power and exercise power over others. If you lose the narrative and everybody starts to understand the truth, then they lose their power. There's a thing in Stargate where the evil demons that are called the Ori, their actual power comes from the number of people that believe in them. The more people that bow and believe in the Ori, the more power they got. And if you're able to awaken them up with the truth, and it's kind of the narrative of the show. It's kind of brilliant, even though I'm not a big science fiction fan. Once they see the truth, all their power just goes poof! Like flatulence in the wind. That really is how it is metaphysically, so I kind of love that, and it's how brilliant it is. But right now they're trying to scrub everything and everyone, and we've all experienced it, but there's a lot of it going on now. Here you want some facts that actually are current in the United States. The current tyrannical entities have been screeching and hollering about people complaining about getting aid to people. Tennessee, North Carolina, other places like that. Oh, no, we got it up there. Well, let's talk about some facts. It took 5 days to start to get very, very, very little help to North Carolina. I'm pretty sure North Carolina is in the United States. 2 days. It only took 48 hours, less than 48 hours, after the major earthquake, 8 years ago, whenever it was, in Haiti, for Obama. It only took less than 48 hours for major aid to be airlifted to Haiti by Obama. Let me just get this straight here. 5 days, basically nothing to North Carolina. 5 days. Inside our own country, less than 48 hours, we had major, major airlifts after the earthquake in Haiti by our government. Pretty sure that Haiti is a little bit outside of our country. So it only took less than 48 hours to do that. Took over 5 days, and even after 5 days. See, they're calling that misinformation. Now, what I just told you is a fact. People need to stick to facts. They say, well, you're spreading misinformation. No, I just gave you a fact. And there's a long laundry list of facts. There's a long laundry list of them. Unfortunately, not only this government, but countless others become increasingly super intolerant to speech that challenges its power, reveals its corruption, exposes untruths, and encourages the citizenry, discourages, the citizenry to push back against the lies and the injustices and the false narratives. In this very day, even in this country, not to mention, the horrific tyranny of the UK and Ireland. Man, some of the stuff that's happened in the past 72 hours that have come out of Ireland is mind-blowing. Australia, New Zealand, dare to speak the truth. They're going to find themselves, censored, silenced, fired, or possibly even worse. Especially, very much so worse, in the UK. Can you believe John Kerry, who's a government official? Our First Amendment stands as a major block to your ability to be able to hammer out this free speech out of existence. There's so many low information people out there, unfortunately, and their minds are kind of like a spaghetti strainer. They're so open to susceptibility of being penetrated by those spreading misinformation. And everything they accuse you of doing is the very thing they themselves are doing. There's a double-edged sword of knowledge, and they don't want you to know. This is why public school systems do not teach you how to think. They teach you how to, conform to the system and the narrative. Believe in it. Public school system is one of the greatest evils that leads to the total destruction of this society here in the United States. It is itself inherently a great evil. The greatest wrong that's ever been done to me in life, there have been many, many countless wrongs done to me, is being sent to public school system, but thankfully my brain was always sharper than those people, and I was never under sway of same. But it's destroyed so many other people, and I hate to see that being the case. If you want to contact me, my information is in the description below. I'm sorry that I was out of service yesterday, but it's because I was snaking the drain in my basement with all that ick falling on me. It was just so horrific. It was so bad when you got to take 2 showers. That's pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Thank you for watching. Lux Everitas. Sorry I didn't turn the lava lamp on in time. It takes a long time for that sucker to warm up. So sorry.